Soft floating on the evening air, give the sweetest songs of praise, as worshippers in yonder church, their gentle voices raise, they sing of bread.
When Studietrust came my way, and there was talk about helping the students who have potential but don't have the means, that appealed to me. That appealed to me because that is the kind of life I had experienced. I was born in Bothaville, born to a second wife to my father. The first wife had died. Thereafter, he died at the age of 45. When he died, I was 2 years old. Later on in 1945, when the granny died, an uncle of mine, Mr Morapeli, was working, had just started working in Joburg. He pleaded with his elder brothers to allow him to take us to Joburg. And this was a wonderful twist in my life. I don't think I would have gone beyond standard 4 if I had remained in Bothaville. To him, we were an instant family. My uncle remained somebody very, very special to me because he allowed me to go to school. He had to introduce me to doing all sorts of odd work after school. I've never had a free weekend. I had to be working and working and working. Selling sweets in the train, right up to the time when I completed my teacher training. That kept me off the streets. It helped towards my fees, my books, and so on. Henley Primary School is a school that I attended. It must have been 1948-49. This place was just surrounded by shacks, and this school here was the first proper school structure. I was then in Standard 5, and after 3 months, I was accelerated, to Standard 6. At the end of the year, I did exceptionally well. I was a student at Orlando High School. A certain Mr Mike, he was advising me to go and do teacher training. From there, I could then do whatever. The sky could be the limit for me. In 1952, I went to Kilnerton to train as a teacher. When I was in Kilnerton, I didn't receive any pocket money. I could not even go home over weekends. I found it better to take part-time jobs, working Saturdays. I went to teach at Morris Isaacson High School. This was one of the major high schools in this part of Soweto. This is the statue of Tsietsi Mashinini, the young man who led the resistance movement. Students from all the high schools in this direction started here, and they marched right through to Orlando East. There was often a slogan like liberation now, education later. But please, what should come first? Your study. You have got to go and compete with other students, for bursaries and even for positions you are found to be wanting. One afternoon, I received a call that the regional director wanted to see me in his office to appoint me in the position of rector there. Even before he could finish that, I said to him, but I did not apply. He pushed those application forms across to where I was seated and said, man, Mike, don't be foolish. This is another promotion for you. This is what used to be Soweto College of Education. I worked here as rector from 1981 to 1991 when I was offered a post at head office as chief director. This is where I have lived for very many years. All my 4 children got married here. They were born here. And Mrs. Morapeli, the lady from Kroonstad, Emma Mohomani, in 1958, she had just completed her nursing training. The end of the friendship ended when I led her to the altar. In very many ways, our values were the same. She had also had to work very, very hard to continue with schooling at the secondary school after her father's death.
Mike was an educationist to the bone, a teacher, an educator, and a person with such an interest in young people, the passion for young people, and that's where we really connected.
I had no hesitation when Jan approached me. He was a minister in Soweto, looking after the youth in the church. I found the motto of Studietrust that we should share one another's burdens. Exactly that, and it appealed to me. From 1981, I joined the board of trustees. I came now face to face with the kind of situation that I had been experiencing almost all my life. And when I was a teacher, I always had an eye for the kind of student, that pupil that I had been, the contribution that I could make to encourage those who were actually facing hopelessness. Hundreds and thousands of letters. Needy students, I read their letters. What I could contribute grew bigger and bigger and bigger up to now. My 4 boys, they are now married. They've got wives. They are also donors.
All 4 sons followed their father's example and became donor friends of Studietrust too. I always counted that as so special.
What has kept me fascinated has been the kind of students that Studietrust produced, the quality of young men and women who will not be stopped by anything. The big firms, the Anglos of this world, found that the students who had been selected were people who made use of the opportunity. Some of them are members of the executive, some of them are trustees, almost all of them without exception are donors. There's nothing to beat that. That is nation building, and I think this is service where it is most needed.
We got to know Mike as this loyal person, this leader, this person of substance, this very humble person. His guidance over the years, his sincerity, his perspective, his wisdom, a role model.
I'm delighted to remain connected, with this service organization, this big family, where the donors, the students, their parents, and the private sector are playing a role. We are just one big family here, working in the same direction, achieving wonderful results. This is almost unbelievable.